So Stephen here, So Stephen D here on Pure 24/7 Radio, and I am joined by one of the writers for your Pure Media, the magazine. Hello, Dan.
Hi, Stephen. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, apart from fumbling over my words a little bit.
Oh, it's not like we talk for a living or anything, is it?
Yeah. Rather important. So let's start with what it is you get up to.
So thankfully, most of the time I listen to people, not have to talk. So that's good. I am a freelance church and community developer, which means basically I'm working alongside mostly church groups, but other community groups as well. And as I'm saying now for this year, helping them to be and do what they are meant to be and do.
I like that. That's very good. So that's new for 2026.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially evolved through the year, but it was part of my. So I shut down. I don't do any client work over the Christmas break, which seems a long distant memory now. But I always do a little bit of review of how the year's gone for me, where my website's at, whether it's reflecting what I'm actually doing. And yeah, so that was a new line that came out for this one, because that's essentially what I'm doing. It's not rocket science in any way. I'm just walking alongside these people and helping them realize why we're here, whether that's as just a standard community group or as a church group, and very intentionally looking at mission and being really, really missional about all this stuff, with whether that's a gospel mission, which takes up probably about 90% of my time, or the mission of that community group. It's like, let's focus on why we exist, and then we build everything from that, rather than just looking to what other people are doing and try and copy them because it looked cool.
Yes, that is very true. That's a very good point. A lot of people might end up falling into that trap. So I really like that line. Would you mind repeating that again for us?
Yeah, you're going to test me now, and I'm looking for where I've got it on some publicity as well, but I think it's sitting out of reach behind me. So yeah, it's helping people to be and do what they are meant to be and do.
I love that. So on top of all that you do, you also write for Pure Media, the magazine, which I guess kind of feeds into it, really.
It does, yeah, and it reflects a lot of what I'm hearing out on the ground, as it were, when I'm working alongside groups. So it reflects a lot of that, and just brings some of the encouragement that I'm sharing or hearing, and tries to share that with the readers of the magazine as well.
Excellent. So I have in front of me the February edition. This is our special copy, which we have in the office, so that we can keep track of what we've got. And in this edition, on page 59, is it 59? I've lost
Something
it.
Like that. 50 something.
50 something. I had a second ago. It was page 55. On page 55, we have your article, Church and Community. And this month, you've written, "Will you be the light this year?" So what inspired this specific article?
So yeah, February magazine, January is finally finished, which seems to last forever. And there's always the big thing about, what resolutions you're going to do, what new thing you're going to do this year. And you get, social media and TV adverts bombard you with different charities that you can support to walk or run or skip or hop or whatever it might be during the month of January. And to be honest, and I talked about this on my Pure Brunch show as well, that actually January is probably the worst time to start new things and new resolutions and new activities, because it's dark, it's miserable, the weather's not great, certainly here in the UK. And it's not I guess it's meant to be a challenge, I suppose, to do some of these things, but actually it's probably one of the worst times to do things. Now, a few years ago, I actually did a challenge for a charity, and I did it in February, and it was so many things per day. And it was a bit cunning because February, of course, is the shortest month, as there was less days to do things on. That worked for me. But here we are in February, January, New Year's a long forgotten memory. And we might have promised to do all sorts of things, but actually we've got to this point, and have we still kept up with some of those things we said we were going to do? Now, this isn't just about giving up certain foods or, going to the gym or whatever it might be, but this is, what have we promised to the Lord that we're going to do? What are we going to promise to do in our Christian service? And whether that's, I will read a certain amount of chapters of the Bible every day or whatever. A lot of people, I'm generalizing here, I know, but a lot of people by February will have fallen back to as they were before. And probably because they've slipped up on one day or maybe 2 days, they're beating themselves up about it. And they're like, oh, well, I'll forget it until next January. Now, first of all, that's the worst thing to do. If you fall down, you get back up again. That's how winners win. Is they keep on going, whatever they do. And the same is true with in the view of church and community. Is this is about how we are being effective in our communities, effective in our service, and effective in what we're doing for what Jesus has called us to do. So this was very much on my mind at the start of the year, and it just felt right to bring it to the magazine for this month.
Excellent. I really like all of what you've just said, because, yeah, as you say, February is one of those months where we can very easily assess, all right, how have we done so far in this year? We've done a month, how far have we got? How are we doing with the goals that we set, whether they're some of the stuff like going to the gym or eating healthily, but the more important, the more valuable stuff, as you talked about what we've promised to the Lord, how are we doing on that? And kind of reassessing is so valuable in February, and that's what your article then beautifully comes into. So with that in mind, what would it be that you'd want people to kind of take away from this article? What would be the one thing you want people to go away thinking about and perhaps even changing in their lives?
Well, I'll do that thing, and I'll give you a couple of things, but I will come to one thing as a summary of that. Okay, but I'll lead into that one thing. I'm not a politician, I promise. But the two things that kind of led me into this is within my mind. There's a passage in the Old Testament book of Isaiah, which it starts off saying, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, the glory of the Lord rises upon you." And the Message paraphrase puts that beautifully. It says, "Get up out of bed and go and serve." And it's that's that drive. It's like, come on, the Lord is saying, get up, there's darkness across the earth, but the Lord is amongst you, his glory is amongst you, go and bring that light to the nations. So that was a big kind of clarion call. And then I read a wonderful article from the Evangelical Alliance, and a guy called Phil Knox, who's something like their missional. He's got some fancy title anyway about missional things, and he looks at what's going to happen in the church, what they see as the trends are happening based on what they've seen over the recent years, and encourage people. There's a summary of it in the magazine, but go and have a look at the EA's website, because there's a whole lot of these 5 trends about what they're seeing in the church, and essentially it's really exciting missional stuff that's happening. There is a tide that's turning. People are coming back to the church, and they're coming back with real hunger for the word as well. They're not just it's not just head stuff. They're coming really with their heart. So what I want to take from this, says he, seamlessly pulling it back to your question, is that these trends are really good to read, but they also shouldn't be taken lightly. There's some quite big stuff out there, but this is what God has called us to do, but not to go on our own. So whenever we go out and do any of these things, whether it is a New Year's resolution or whatever, but if it's our service of God, it's our reading of the Word, we go in His strength to do it. He's not sent us out alone. And that's a key. Even back from when He sent out the apostles in their first kind of mission, He sent them out 2 by 2, but He sent them out with the Spirit's power, so they didn't go alone. And so as we go out into this year, or the rest of this year, I ended the article saying, look, smile and serve, love and forgive, talk about Jesus, point people to Him, and let Him guide you to do this and be the light in your community. We, even as one individual person, have the opportunity to be the light in our communities. And that's what I want people to take that, not just read it as words on the page, but to go out and do it. And hey, let us know how they get on.
Excellent. Yeah. I really like that. Being the light, and there's lots you've mentioned about that EA stuff, and how they've pointed out some interesting data, some interesting statistics, which might encourage us, but also challenge us to do something about these data. And ultimately, that's where you conclude this is what you need to go and do: smile and serve where you are, which is brilliant.
Yep, and that comes right back from when Jesus was asked what the greatest commandments were. The first one was love God. The second one was love others. And if we take that as a New Year's resolution, a February resolution, just go and do it, whatever it is. Love God, love others. It comes straight from the mouth of Jesus.
Absolutely. I think that's a beautiful place to end this conversation. Thank you so much, Dan Rous, for giving us a little bit of what inspired you to write your latest article in the February edition of Pure Media, the magazine. Thank you, Dan.
Absolute pleasure.